Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm really excited about tonight's conversation. Um, just really quick, if you are on, please get the likes up, tag anybody on who you think may find this interesting, helpful. Um, just a few housekeeping rules. In the interest of time, because there's just many questions we're gonna try to get through in a short amount of time, I'm only going to be answering any questions that come through super chat. So, um, if you have any burning questions you want to ask any of our special guests, send it through super chat, and we will try our best to get it over to you. Also, if you want to show support to any of their channels, I'm going to be sure to link their information in the description box. So be sure to check that out, after and check out their information, check out their pages and show support and love there. As always, if you would like to show support to this channel, you can find me on Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, Shay Sharday. I'm just going to wait a few more moments while everybody else gets hopped on, and then we will hop right into the conversation. A little bit more interlude music for you. Okay, so it looks like all parties are here. So we're just gonna get right into it. So let's bring everybody up. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Awesome. I'm so excited about today's conversation. Really, yeah, this is gonna be good. So to everybody, we have the original dark-skinned activist Rashida Strober joining us today. She's been doing her work, dark-skinned activism since I think 1998, if I'm not mistaken. She has a few books and has different plays and different things. So I'm excited to get her perspective on just colorism, darkism, and then as always we have the old man, the founding father of the Black Manosphere, who I'm sure has a lot to say on the matter and has also done his own research. So I'm excited to just get their perspective and have them weigh in on these different topics impacting the Black community and women in particular. So yes, before we get started, did you guys both have anything you wanted to add? Just things that audience should know, different things like that.
Nah, everybody knows who I am. Hey, hello,
Yeah.
Rashida.
Hi, how you doing? Yeah, I do have something to add.
Yeah,
if I may. There's a big problem on YouTube with people plagiarizing and stealing and taking from the ideas and content of others. And I just want to say and make it clear at the outset that I am the first person to introduce the colorism as a topic to YouTube and social media. And a lot of people, they get angry and upset when I say that, but they're getting angry and upset with the facts. And I just need to let it be known, because a lot of people have taken from my work. They have not acknowledged my work. They've taken it and they've created channels and made it a topic of discussion, when I know, because I started this work in 98, that Black dark-skinned women, it wasn't even on their mind to speak about colorism. They didn't even conceive it as a movement. And I know that I did it first, myself and Cola Booth. And so I just want to make that very clear, because there's a certain level of disrespect, which I will never tolerate, that comes out of ignorance, where people are just being introduced to this colorism topic, not understanding that I had to go through hell and high water, and I had to take the real hits for dark skin and speaking out against colorism to get it to the point that it is today. And I just don't appreciate people erroneously assigning other people as the creator. Like, for example, some people don't even realize that the phrase dark-skinned activist, that is my intellectual trademark property that I own, because I created that phrase out of my own brain. And so some people, they hear the term or the phrase dark-skinned activist and they will call other people dark-skinned activists. No, there's only one. That's me. I own the trademark. And so I just have to let that be known, that you got to respect it. You can't just come and say, you know what, I'm going to talk about this, and not even care about the origin story of the struggle that the person had to go through that originated it, so that you could be able to talk about it. And so I just, I'm very disheartened with the level of disrespect in Black YouTube with the plagiarism of my work. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to you, because Sharday, you are one of the few people There's some out there that understand and respect it. So I want to say thank you to you, and thank you for letting me say that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You know what? I would like to, that, if I may, and I know we were
Yeah,
short,
absolutely.
short on time, but
Go on.
you know, colorism has been around for a very long time, and I'm reminded of Toni Morrison's "The Bluest Eye," which I suspect Miss Strober has read, and
No,
that.
I haven't read that.
Oh no, really? That came
I'm
out in
aware of
19,
it. And
yeah, it
color,
came out,
wait a minute. Let me stop you right here, because that's the argument that I hear all the time, where people say colorism has been around for. I'm not talking about colorism being around
right?
for
Yeah,
a long
I was
time.
about to.
That's
Yeah,
wait,
you know,
wait. Let
I was
me
about to.
correct
I was
you.
about to.
What I'm
I was about to.
speaking
I was
on
about.
is
I
I
was
am
about
the
to
first
finish.
person to create a actual movement
Yeah,
to
I was about
end
to finish.
colorism. That is
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
Right.
I was
And
about to
by the
finish.
way, I was the first person to come onto YouTube and state very clearly that Alice Walker is the person in 1982 in some of her womanist writings. She coined the word colorism. And then people latched on to that. So what people have to do, what Black people have to do, we have to listen. The devil is in the details. Okay, we have to
Right.
listen and do our research so that we can adequately understand exactly what it is I am saying. Once again, I'm saying I'm the first person in recorded history. Now, you can refute me if I'm wrong with some facts, to create a movement to end, eradicate colorism. The only
Right.
Yeah.
other
Now,
person that comes close to me is Cola Booth.
right
Yeah.
now, if I may,
I was attempting to make a point.
yeah. So yeah, just real quick, yeah, Obsidian, feel free to make your point, and then we'll hop right into the.
No, I was just simply saying that Toni Morrison and the Bluest Eye talks about colorism, and of course there have been others like Alice Walker and even predating the both of them. Lots of discussion about colorism. Back in the early part of the 20th century.
Uh-huh.
So I think we got that down
No,
pat.
I don't think we do. I still don't think you understand, but
I
we'll leave
I,
that
I,
alone.
I would like to
Yeah.
finish my statement. Okay.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
So I'm not able to hash out who brought colorism where to YouTube first. I'm not going into that. But what I will say is this. I guess because there's been a lot of discussion this year about intellectual property theft or alleged
Mhm.
or alleged such actions. And I'll just say this personally. I think there's a real question here. Is the question about the individual, or is the question about the mission? See,
Both.
me as somebody. To me, it's somebody as somebody that is a content creator and has generated quite a bit of intellectual property myself.
Mhm.
For me, and I've grappled with this question myself. For me, the issue is the mission. It's bigger than me. But I know that there's a number of people in Black American life who feel that they have not gotten the right credit that they deserve. So I guess it comes down to a philosophical question. Me, I have faith in the universe that the wheel will come around, and if I'm on the right path, uh, you know, things will work out. But the biggest question for me is whether is this about me or is this about the mission?
It's about me and the mission. I want credit for my work. I don't want other people eating off my work. I have a problem with that. But that's not what this conversation is about. But I'm just letting you know I don't see it that way. No, you're not gonna go tell the inventors of Nike that. This is the disrespect that Black people have towards each other. This is why we can't get anywhere on a higher level as a people, because we can't even respect people that create original work. And I know
Right.
for a fact, like I said, and I'm going to say it again, dark-skinned Black women didn't give a damn about talking about dark skin back in 98. There was no dark skin
Well, let
activism.
me ask you a
They
question.
didn't care.
Okay. So
So
I,
I'm
you
not
guys,
going to
I
allow
really.
people to
Did
just
you
say,
copyright your
no,
work?
it's about the mission.
Did you
The hell
copyright your
no,
work?
we're not going to do that.
All right.
No,
Did you
we're not
hold
gonna
on a
do
second?
that.
Hang on a second.
All
Hang on a
right.
second,
All
Friday.
right.
Did you copyright your work?
I did.
So what's the problem?
Did you just hear what I just said? Dark
So
skinned
what's the problem?
activist is
So what's the problem?
trademark.
All right.
There's
So
a
what's the
big
problem?
problem. There's a problem with Black
So
people
all right. So
online eating
are
off
you
my
aware?
work. That's
Are
the
you aware?
problem.
Are
It
you
may not
aware
be
of
a
the
problem.
fact? Are you aware of the fact that if someone infringes on your intellectual property, that there is a legal process
Of
that
course,
you can
I've
take?
already dealt with that.
Okay.
I'm in litigation right now.
Right. So on that note, I I would
I'm
love to
sorry,
continue
Sade.
this no,
we
it's
getting
okay.
all we getting
And I
all
know
fiery today, y'all.
no.
I got my green tea.
We have
I'm
so many
ready.
great things to talk about, and that's why, like I said, I knew this conversation could go on. I'm trying to be mindful and respectful of your
Okay,
time
okay,
limit. So,
okay.
in the interest of that, I would love to move forward. Now, if we happen to have more time at the end, and you guys want to hop on, then please do. We can hash this out. But like I said, I'm just trying to make sure we get through some of these topics because I think you guys both have some good things to weigh in. Just really quick, to just so you guys know, I'll ask you both a question. We'll try our best to let the individual make their point, and then once the individual has made their point, then you can offer any rebuttals and go from there.
Right. Thank you for being so gracious.
It's
No,
all
you
good.
are. You really are. You.
So it's all
No, I
good.
respect it.
All right. So I will start. So this first question, and as you know, in the interest of time, also ladies first, I will direct this first question to Rashida. So, Rashida, in your opinion, is darkism colorism, is that the most important issue affecting Black women today?
No, I wouldn't say that it's the most important issue. If I had to have a top five issues impacting Black/dark skinned Black women, it would be among the top five. But I wouldn't say it's the most important issue. I mean, I do understand that Black people as a whole, no matter what skin tone we are facing a multiplicity of issues dealing with, the mother of darkism, which is racism overall. So no, it's not the most important issue, but it's in my top five of Black issues.
Okay. Okay. And now, Mr. Obsidian, what about you? Is darkism colorism, is that the most important issue affecting Black women in your opinion? Hello, you there?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I don't know. Didn't hear you. So
Oh no, my response was absolutely not.
absolutely not. Okay. Okay.
I think the argument at this point, that's not to say that it wasn't true in the past. I'm not saying that. I'm
Mhm.
saying right now in the 21st century, in the year 2021, the main problem for the Negro is no longer the color line, to harken back to the great scholar W.E.B. Du Bois. Today, the single biggest problem facing Black America is the sobering reality that Black male and Black female don't get along.
Okay. Oh, okay. No, that's a fair point. Now, Rashida, do you have anything to offer on this question before we move on?
Well, I mean, you make a good point, Obsidian, that one of the major issues in Black America is that the gender war, and I think a lot of that has to do with darkism and colorism. It's the elephant in the room that we don't like to address. That we don't want now. We want to even say that it doesn't exist. It doesn't impact dating and marriage choices. And I argue that it absolutely does.
Okay, so any problem that can be assessed, we can look at the top of the food chain and go and work our way down. So we've had a first lady who was dark skinned in Michelle Obama, right? We've had a dark skinned Black woman who is clearly one of the most wealthiest and influential people on the planet in Oprah Winfrey. I can't think of a light skinned Oscar winner Black female in the past 20 years. And I mean that literally. The last one that did it that's light skinned or biracial was Halle Berry. All the rest of them since have been dark skinned, including Viola Davis, Lupita Nyong'o, etc. Let me see who else. I mean, when we think about the top most people insofar as Black women are concerned in Black American life, they're all darker skinned Black women. These are not, light, bright, damn near white, alabaster white, light skinned women. None of them are. So I'm trying to understand where the argument is that, and then, of course, like people like Gabrielle Union, I mentioned Michelle Obama, all the rest. They're darker skin, or at least they're on the darker skin end of the color spectrum, insofar as Black women's complexions are concerned. So it's kind of hard to make the case that colorism is impeding Black women's romantic or social or educational or occupational success. It's hard to make that argument, because if that was true, then all of the women that I just mentioned wouldn't be there.
Well, it's not hard to make that argument, because you need to read my book. Apparently, you haven't read my book, Token Dark Girl, the It Dark Girl of the Moment. What America likes to do is take a segment of a disenfranchised population within the country and uphold one or two or three and say, "Ooh, look, tell the masses you're making progress." That's what they're doing with dark-skinned females. Upholding, and if you read my book, Token Dark Girl, I analyze this. I point this out, where America is taking these women like Lupita Nyong'o, who's benefited from my work. And by the way, the progress of dark-skinned women has a lot to do with my work. Y'all ain't got to give me credit. I don't care. I know the facts. Because people like Lupita Nyong'o, she wasn't even talking about being dark-skinned until she, got famous and started to see it trending on social media. Prior to that, this woman was not talking about being dark-skinned, whereas I've been doing it since '98. But anyway, America likes to take, like I said, a segment of the population, pick out a few outliers and uphold them to the masses and say, look at these people. They're doing well. You should be able to do well as well. But then the masses got to go through all these hurdles. That's what they don't show you. They got to jump through all these hurdles. They got to jump through all these obstacles to get to the level of the Oprah Winfrey's, the Lupita Nyong'os. And it's just not the case when you compare these women to the women in white America. So it's still problems that's going on here. We're not gonna sit here and say that because we got a few tokens, the Lupita Nyong'os, the Oprah Winfrey. Now, Oprah, I do respect. Kenya Moore. I think she was the first Miss America,
right?
Dark skin. We're not gonna sit here and say that because we got a few tokens that there's not a problem. Absolutely not. And then we're not only looking in America. We got to look at global darkism. This is all because. Let me tell you something. If you go over to the third world countries, so-called third world countries, which are resource wealthy, but because of economic policies like structural adjustment and they're strangleholding these black countries, but they're resource rich, but they're still being held down economically. And then you got to also look at, why is there a $1 billion skin lightening industry? If we are so, on par with all the other women of the world, why do we have this $1 billion skin lightening industry where these women feel like they have to lighten their skin to be able to get a good man, to get a husband, to get a good education, etc. And this is, again, this is global darkism. Is bigger than African Americans. We're talking about global darkism in Africa, on the continent, in Asia, in India. It's all over the world. In the Caribbean, we can't dismiss that.
Yeah. No.
Well, I just got finished. As Ms. Strober was talking, I went and did a quick Google search for the most beautiful women in Nigeria. And the reason why I chose Nigeria, because Nigeria is both the largest and most populous and one of the more successful, prosperous countries on the African continent. And I turned up, and I just sent you a private link, and I'll put it in the chat room for anybody else that wants to see it for themselves. I'm looking at the list of women here, and right off the rip, they start with a woman that's dark skinned. Her name is Ava Olordaya. She's born August 13th, 1988 in Abuja, Nigeria. And says here she's a rapper, singer, dancer, model, makeup artist, writer, and songwriter. Right off the bat, she's darker skinned. The next one, I can't pronounce her name. Chindenma Elkali or something like that. She's a bit lighter skinned. She's not straight up dark. But what I find interesting is that she's got a very short cropped haircut. She's there. Then the next sister after her is definitely dark skinned. So I mean, you got dark skinned sisters on this list, and they prominent. These are the top 20 most beautiful women in Nigeria. And from what I can tell, at least half of the list is very dark-skinned black women. So I don't know what
Right.
to say.
Let's move on to the next question. Now this one is actually dedicated. We're focusing on America for this one. So, I'll start with you, Mr. Obsidian. Are Black women in America Western women, in your opinion?
Of course they are. By definition, they're Western. Where anybody that lives in the United States, be they, they chose to come here, which is the case for the vast majority of us, and those that are ADOS, I guess you could call us, or FBA or whatever, descendant of African slaves, we're American no matter what. So all of us are part of the Western tradition. We're literally in the West in terms of compass direction, and we're Western in terms of our mindset, in our bearing, in our upbringing.
Mhm.
So yeah, are Black women Western? Of course they are.
All right. And Rashida, what do you think? In your opinion, are Black women in America Western women?
That's a damn good question. That's that question right there is it kind of shakes me up because I got mixed emotions about that because I
Mhm.
think that we are, as Black people as a whole, including Black women, I think that we are this and I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I'm including myself in this
Mhm.
as
Right.
being born here in America. We are this confused breed of humanity that has resulted from slavery. And I don't know. That's a question I would have to actually sit down and just think about. That obviously we have Western ways because we are in this country and we live under a Western construct, but at the same time we of course still have some of our African ways and combine that with the Western ways. So it's like
Mhm.
you got this mixture of people that's like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm sorry. I know you said you don't want to curse on here last time I was on here, but that's what I'm just thinking. Like, what is going on here? So that's a question that I have to really sit down and think about. You know, it's a very good question. Excellent question.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, then I'll move on to the next question. Now, real quick, for those of you who are on, please get the likes up, tag anybody on this broadcast who you think may find it interesting. Also, if you would like to show some support, you can find me on Cash App or Venmo Share Charday. I'm over here having a discussion with Rashida, the original dark-skinned activist, and the old man, one of the founding fathers of the Black Manosphere. And we are talking about just darkism, colorism, Black beauty standards, and everything in between. So, on to the next question. Mr. Obsidian, in your opinion, do Black women measure up to the Black beauty standard?
Well, first of all, we have to define what the Black beauty standard is. That for many, many years, there have been Black women who have lamented that it's unfair for Black men to hold Black women to a standard that they inherently cannot meet, i.e., the white, Barbie, very, very thin, big boobs, and blue eyes, and long blonde hair at that. And it's unfair to hold them to that standard. And my thing is, okay, that's fair. So, what is the Black beauty standard? And I've never gotten a straight answer as to what that is. We all know
Mhm.
what the white beauty standard is, but when it comes to defining what the Black beauty standard is, from the Black women who make the biggest stink, all of a sudden now they get wobbly and they can't really define what it is.
So I did some research on this. Shameless plug, right? I did a little bit of research on this because, to your point, I've heard so many complaints about that, and I basically created a video really delving deeply into what is the Black beauty standard. If we were to take it from an Afrocentric perspective, if we were to take it from an African-centered perspective, or for a dark-skinned perspective, as some of these women complain about, what did that look like? So I did some research, put together the Black beauty standard video. I will link it in this video for those of you who are not familiar with it. But to sum it up, what I found based upon different research, based upon different things I saw from ancient Africa and even more recent times, was that the Black beauty standard can be defined as this: a woman who has the continence of a beautiful woman and also has the character of a beautiful woman. So what that means is that a woman from a Black beauty standard would not be considered beautiful if she didn't know how to get along with people, if she had a bad attitude, if she was cantankerous, if she was unsophisticated. There were all these qualities that were inherently based upon a woman's character that determine whether or not she was beautiful or not. And in many different African cultures, the word good and beautiful, they meant the same thing. And so, they talked about how a woman, even if she was physically attractive, meaning that she was fit, meaning that she took care of her body, because a part of the Black beauty standard was a woman who did actually maintain a healthy appearance. So that was a part of it, had clear skin. But even if she had those qualities, she had a bad attitude and she did not know how to maintain relationships and families, she was considered to be an ugly person. So Black beauty standard is, from what I could tell, not only did it require a woman to maintain herself physically, it also required her to have character and the ability to maintain healthy relationships. And that is a Black beauty standard. So from what I could see, the Black beauty standard was higher than the Western beauty standard, as far as Western beauty standard being a lot more focused on a woman's looks and her essentially maintaining maybe a particular frame or things of that nature. A lot more focused on the physical, whereas the Black beauty standard was, it's not only physical, you have to have interpersonal relational skills. I break this down in my video very, very, very clear. So like I said, shameless plug, check it out if you'd like to learn a little bit more. I drop a few different historical references, also make reference to Kevin Samuels and some of the different things that he says on the matter. And that's how I define it.
So do you think, based on everything you said, that the rank and file Black woman today meets that standard?
My personal opinion, no. I think, based upon today, as you put it, the rank and file Black woman doesn't even necessarily meet the current beauty standards. Now, we can argue whether or not those standards are healthy and whether or not they're even meant for a Black woman. But no, they don't. Like I said, I looked into that and I'm like, this is harsh, because while I certainly do agree that, of course, there are certain issues that dark-skinned people face, the dark-skinned women have versus light-skinned. Like we can argue back and forth about how valid that is. I think a lot of the challenges that we see today, just within men and women, some of that does have to do with just broken down families, women not knowing necessarily how to get along with men and vice versa. Because if you grew up in a single family home, sometimes you don't even have a context of what does a healthy marriage look like, and you bring that broken understanding into a relationship, and you have a hard time. And then you compile that with social norms, you compile that with just all the kind of stuff that happens in our day-to-day community. So, but I don't want to get too deeply on my perspective. I wanted to get you guys get your take on it, but just to give a little bit more insight as to what the Black beauty standard is. Like I said, I will link to that in the description for anybody who wants to check it out. But it certainly does exist. Rashida, do you have anything to offer on the topic?
Sure. Phenotypically, it has to be dark skin with nappy hair, period. That has to be, because people are visual. I love the part where you just spoke about character and humility and the way that a person behaves and their morals. In conjunction with that, we have to be honest. The reason why we have so many problems with beauty standards in Black America is because of the onslaught of the media pushing the white beauty standard constantly. So the white beauty standard, blonde hair, blue eyes, they're showing you this in every imaginable way through mass media. So Black people have to set our own separate phenotype in terms of the beauty standard for Black women, and that has to be a dark-skinned, nappy-headed woman. And I say nappy, when I use the word nappy-headed, for me, that's a good term. I don't see it as derogatory. But if we're talking about phenotype, which I believe, that's probably, it's overarching, because when you look at television, when you look at ads, when you look at marketing, these 30-second commercials, 1-minute commercials, you see beautiful white women, the best that the white race has to offer. Mm-hmm. So it has to be the same, the equivalent with Black people. We have to set the standard, and it has to be Black, dark skin with nappy hair. Anything less than that, that's not the original. It's just not the original. And we also have to look at the fact that, again, we are living under dysfunctional artificial conditions due to racism and white supremacy. And so we are adopting the cultural and social norms of white people. We can't do that. That's a mistake. So yes, while we have to have the morals um, you know, we also have to have a set standard of the phenotype. That is very, very important. I like to talk about, you know, when I'm walking down the street, for example, a black man is not looking at me going, "Oh, she's a nice woman," or "Oh, she has a master's degree." They're looking at me physically, you know, and historically in this country, beauty has been associated with light skin, starting with the white woman at the top of the hierarchy, and you know the beauty trickling down where you get the darkest women at the bottom. So black men in America, y'all have been programmed, and you know a lot of it is not your fault, but I mean we can do something about it. But y'all have been programmed to see the lightest skinned woman as the most beautiful, and then as you go down the totem pole, you know, another thing, how can you even get to the heart of the woman to see if she's a good, decent human being if you can't look past the color? That's what a lot of people. There's a lot of good, wonderful, dark skinned women out here. I know them, but because they're dark skinned, the man, you know, looks at them and says, you know, I don't even want that. I'm gonna choose the light skin when she might not be as good of a person, but because she's light skinned, you're gonna give her the benefit of the doubt first. So we have a problem here. We got to set the standard. We got to be firm on setting the standard, the black beauty standard as starting with dark skin with nappy hair, and I'm unapologetic about it. I'm not gonna apologize to people that are offended. If you're upset about that, then you got to be upset with the facts of history, because there's over 1 billion people in Africa right now, and I guarantee you the majority of those people are dark skinned with coarse nappy hair. Now I'm not saying it's not brown skin, light skin. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the majority. So it makes sense that the beauty standard would be what the majority population looks like.
For those of you who have just hopped on, please get the likes up, tag anybody on this broadcast who you think may find it interesting. We are talking about colorism, darkism, black beauty standards, and everything in between. Also, if you would like to show support to the show, you can find me on Cash App or Venmo Sade. And just in the interest of time, I'm only going to be answering those questions that come through Super Chat. So now, Mr. Obsidian, do you have anything else to offer on that particular question before we move on?
No, go right ahead.
All right. So in your opinion, Mr. Obsidian, is divesting a good strategy for Black women to end darkism or colorism?
Absolutely not. And the reason why is because it's impractical. The vast majority of Black women, there'll always be notable exceptions to any rule, but the vast majority of Black women, if they're going to have mates at all, they're going to be Black men. So cutting off your nose to spite your face just doesn't make sense.
Right. Totally agree. Rashida, what do you think?
Can you ask that question again?
Is divesting a good strategy for Black women to end darkism or colorism?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I don't. let me preface that with saying, for years, there's been people that have came to me trying to, I'm not saying you're doing this, but trying to make me a part of the sector of Black women on YouTube that are about this mixing races, and I've never been about that. That's not my lane. Mm-hmm. For me, anything outside of Black, you're committing genocide, and I can't agree with you. You are, in fact, you're my enemy. You are part of the problem, because what you're doing, in effect, is you are helping to eliminate Black dark-skinned people. So, you know, for me, that's not even an issue for me, or a question that comes up in my mind, unless I'm fighting against it. In effect, divesting is darkism. It contributes to darkism.
Right. Well, you know, and I will say that's where I actually feel, just in my research on, you know, different women, different people in the space who call themselves, you know, either dark-skinned activists or, you know, who talk about colorism, all of that. That's what I could actually appreciate about your channel, is that you seem to be consistent. Because when I started listening to these other channels, and they're just like, oh, we need more dark-skinned women. We need more dark-skinned women.
That's because these people have been ripping me off. And remember, there's only one dark-skinned activist. I coined that phrase, dark-skinned activist. That's why. They're not original. They're going in a different direction. If you ever listen to what I say about the objective of dark-skinned activism, why I started, it was to bring the black man back to the dark-skinned black woman. So it makes no sense for me. These people, again, they're listening to me and they're making their own spins on what I'm saying. And that's I never said that a solution to darkism is for a black woman to go out and get a dark-skinned black woman to get with a white man. You know, not that there's anything wrong with white people, but that doesn't make sense. That's counter my objective.
No, I hear you. Yeah, and that's like I said, when I started hearing, I had cognitive dissonance. I'm just like, how is your solution to ending darkism creating the women that you don't like? I didn't get it. So I'm like, at least you're consistent on that argument.
Here's the thing, and I appreciate your graciousness. I just want to just say this real quick. A lot of these women are looking for a quick fix. See, I'm a marathon runner. I'm in it for the long haul. It's not a quick fix. Walking away and saying, you know what, I'm tired of these black men, I'm tired of these black women, that this person did this to me, therefore I'm going to go outside of my race and think I'm going to find something better. Do you think that there are not non-black men and non-black women that do the same thing that you had a problem with a black or dark-skinned woman or man for doing? That's crazy. You're putting these people on a pedestal that they should not be on. Instead of stand in the fight, stand in the fire. Just think about if our ancestors, for example, people like Harriet Tubman, if they would have said, screw these slaves, I'm just going to do me. You know, I can't respect people that run away from their problems. No, you stand in the fire, you figure it out, you hash it out, and you fight. That's what you do. If you look at revolutions around the world, if you look at the American Revolution, the Russian Revolution, any type of, these people stood up and they fought. They did not just say, I'm going to run away and I'm going to go take the easier route. That's our problem. We could learn a lot from shout out to the Haitian revolutionaries. They stood up and kept fighting and said, we're going to take what's ours. Black Americans, we running too much. We got to stop running.
Omawali Africa, thank you for the super chat. I see you just got a new subscriber. Okay. Looks like you just got a new subscriber, Rashida.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Student, do you have anything else to offer on the topic before we move on?
Yeah. I have a question for Miss Rashida Strober.
Sure.
Does she think that someone like Miss April Mason has any problems at all attracting black men?
Who is April Mason?
You don't have any idea who she is?
No, sir.
Yeah, she's very easy to look up. She's a femininity influencer and former dating coach for black women. She's going to be working with black men. She announced earlier this month, and she's quite the dark-skinned black woman. She also has short hair, and she seems to do quite well in the men department.
Well, let me answer your question. First of all, I don't know who this person is, but what I will say, you know, I'm not saying that every single dark-skinned woman has the same exact experience. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am, and that's the dismissive thing that I don't like, that I experienced again. I told y'all I've been a dark-skinned activist, been touring around before there was social media, doing my Darkism talks and the Dark-Skinned Activist tour. And I've ran into women that have dark-skinned women that have came to my play, and they said, well, Rashida, I've never experienced what you're talking about. Okay, that's great. I'm happy for you. That's one less dark-skinned woman that has to deal with darkism. So I don't have to worry about you. What I'm concerned about is the dark-skinned woman and the dark-skinned man that experiences darkism. I'm not concerned about these people that, you know, they go around and say, well, I don't go through this. That's fantastic. And I think what we do is we take away from the suffering and the pain and the trauma of the people that are experiencing it by bringing up people that are outliers, that are tokens, if you will.
Right. So April Mason is a token as well.
I don't know April Mason. I would have to do some research on her. But if you're telling me that this woman is a dark-skinned black woman that you're saying that doesn't experience darkism,
I don't know a black man. I don't know a black man that would turn down an evening with her.
I would absolutely say she's a token, and I'm happy for her. I don't know her.
I don't know a black man. I don't know a black man.
Black women. I don't know this woman.
I don't know a black man that would turn down an evening with her.
Well, that's fantastic. I can't speak. She's one person. We're talking about the aggregate. Okay,
Yeah,
of black
and
people
what,
all
and
around
what we're
the world.
talking about here, and what we're talking about here is the possibility that there could be other variables for why those black women are having difficulty.
Absolutely, I never denied that, but that's not what I focus on. God put me on earth to focus on darkism. See, that's what people make mistakes with me. They try to get me on other agendas. No, I'm laser sharp focused on darkism. That's
But the
what I
darkism
do.
can't be that bad if Abel Mason is doing great.
But you're calling out one person. One, she's not, whoever this person is, God bless
Have
her.
you conducted?
She is
Have you
not
conducted
representative
a poll?
of the aggregate.
A global
She
poll
is
of
not
dark-skinned black women to
representative of
determine
the
how
aggregate,
bad
sir. And for
darkism
you
is?
to insinuate that this
Have
woman
you
is
determined?
representative of the
Have you
aggregate
determined
is
exactly to
insane.
what
It doesn't
extent
make
the
sense.
scientific
It's not
means
logical.
exactly
Okay.
how bad darkism is?
I didn't hear nothing you just said because we both.
I know you did.
Yeah, so you guys are okay. Because let's try to let the
dark-skinned woman up as
No,
the
you're not.
example. Are you?
Okay, so I know we're getting heated. Can we try to let the person finish their point before interjecting, so that way we can actually hear what's going on? And then like I said, Mr. Obsidian, if you have something else to offer, please do.
Yes. I
Rashida.
want to ask Ms. Rashida, has she conducted any polls, any censuses to find out exactly to what extent darkism exists on empirical and scientific grounds? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've read.
But you've been working on it since 1998.
Yeah. Darkism
It takes you over 25 years. Listen, it takes you over 25 years to do a poll.
Here's what you need to do. I'm going to answer your question. I want you to go Google my master's thesis from the University of South Florida it speaks on structural adjustment policies as they have impacted the dark-skinned people of Sierra Leone, which contributed to the Civil War. And the entire thesis serves as an example of darkism, economic darkism, social darkism, educational darkism, darkism in healthcare.
What about body positivity darkism?
That's not what I focus on. I'm telling you, I'm answering your question.
Yeah.
I'm answering your question.
Yeah.
So what you can do in your spare time, and anybody is free to do this, go Google Rashida Strober, master's thesis, University of South Florida, and you can read the thesis.
Yeah, I will.
And come back and tell me that I'm wrong.
We know
about
what we do know. What we do know, we cannot not Google Rashida Strober census on darkism black women.
I never said that. First of all, hold up. First of all, let's be clear. Let's be clear. The word darkism. Have you conducted the census? I have a book called Darkism.
Have you done a poll?
That's not going to be the standard. You're not going to make.
Have you done a poll of black women, dark-skinned black women?
To make the standard.
Have you done a head count of dark-skinned black women and talked to them?
A word and
how many dark-skinned black women have you talked to?
I wrote. How many have you talked to?
I don't know.
How about this? How about you go and conduct
I'm not the darkism activist.
And we come back and share the research.
I'm not the darkism activist. You are.
No.
Okay.
You,
all right. So I think
you've been doing this since 1898.
You have this question. Yes.
You've been around since 1898.
You haven't read my work, and you haven't read my work.
So I think
you came onto this platform.
You've been on this platform
that you have not researched Rashida Strober, the dark-skinned activist. Shame.
All right. So that might need to be a part 2. I think Mr. Obsidian has said he will do the research, or read on whatever.
He's not gonna do the research. I don't believe that. I don't believe you're gonna do the research. I'm just gonna tell you flat out.
Do the research.
Could be wrong.
The research doesn't exist. You haven't done the research.
I haven't.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
So I'm gonna
you're not gonna do the research.
It sounds like you woke up in 1998, woke out of bed, and just started doing it.
No,
okay. I'm gonna need to continue.
Wait. No. Let me correct you. Dark-skinned activism started in my family. It started with me doing exactly what I'm doing now, going to my friends and family's homes, speaking about being dark-skinned. A lot of them didn't want to hear it, just like you fighting right now. They didn't want to hear it. I was even kicked out of their homes, telling me to leave. We don't want to hear this dark-skinned stuff. And one day I got an opportunity while at undergraduate at St. Petersburg College to speak during Harambe, African American History Month. And at that point, I decided to give birth to dark-skinned activism. At that time, conducting research on dark-skinned women and what they were going through. And that is how I gave birth. So it took a period of time.
Was it a cesarean birth, or did you just squat and do it?
Excuse me?
Right.
Was it a cesarean birth, or did you just squat and do it?
I don't understand
Yeah,
what
so
you just said.
I would like to move on to the next question. For those of you who are on, please get the likes up. Looks like we have a lot new people hopping on. Please get the likes up. Tag anybody
The
on this
problem is black
discussion who
men
you think
fighting
may find it
against
interesting.
ending darkism. You
We
are
have
part
got-
of
How are we
the
fighting
black
against
men
ending
like
darkism if we want to
black
get
men
into
like
April?
you
Okay,
are a
you guys,
part of the
we have got to
problem.
move on to the next question.
What about Bria Miles?
Next question.
What
We
about
trying
her?
to holler at Bria Miles.
That's fantastic, but you can't deny darkism just because
We
of
can
Bria
deny
Miles. That's
darkism
what
if
you're
you're
doing.
not hot.
That's
We
what
can
you're
deny
doing.
darkism if you're crazy.
We're
We
not
can deny
talking about
darkism
that.
if
We're
you're
not
a
talking about crazy.
BITCH.
We're not talking
We
about
can
hot.
deny
We're talking about
darkism if
being
you're a
dark
German
skinned.
Shepherd. We can deny
No, we're
darkism if
talking
you're
about
crazy.
being
We can deny
dark
darkism if you're emotionally volatile.
Absolutely not.
We can deny
Okay.
darkism if you're
No.
fat.
Mr.
sir.
Obsidian,
No, sir.
Mr. Obsidian, can I ask you the next? I will ask you the next question. Is heightism and height discrimination the male equivalent to colorism?
No.
Okay, and do you have a reason as to why, or is that just
Because there's no guys running around talking about they the heightism activists.
But why can't I be the dark-skinned activist?
You
I'm
can be
not
anything you want
bothering
to
you.
be.
I'm not hurting you. People
You're not hurting
have
me
a
at all.
Problem. Okay, wait a minute. Why can't there be a heightism activist? There can be any type of human problem that we have.
Because short guys like me realize that we got more going on for ourselves in life. We get on with it.
You do not dictate who is an activist for what.
Absolutely not. You can be all the
Thousands
activists
of
that you want.
human problems in the world.
If you want to be
Do
the
you not
darkism,
understand that? There are literally,
tribalism,
I would say
communism,
millions of human problems.
socialism,
Right.
Are we saying that we don't need people out there to solve these problems?
vegetarianism,
That makes no sense.
Okay, so
populism.
Miss Rashida,
This is insanity. Yes,
Rashida, in your opinion, is heightism and height discrimination the male equivalent to colorism?
No, because I don't. What's going
See,
on?
we
with this?
agree. See that?
Stop,
You
stop,
do
stop,
agree.
stop,
Let
stop,
her
stop,
continue.
Stop. Let me finish. What people are doing is bringing up erroneous arguments to refute the validity of darkism and dark-skinned activism. And I will not allow that. When I'm dead and gone, I want people to know that I was fighting intellectually and saying, no, you're not going to use other erroneous arguments to refute dark-skinned activism and darkism, especially when we got people online that have plagiarized me and copied the very topic that I started. So here's the thing.
Are those people light skinned or dark skinned?
They're both. I got people talking about they're the light-skinned activists, an offshoot of my work. That's disrespectful. There's no need for a light-skinned activist. But
Why
it's
not?
an offshoot of dark-skinned activism, making a mockery of the
Why there's no
real
need
pain and
for a light-skinned
suffering
activist?
that people go through.
What about all the
dark-skinned
things that
people go
light skinned people go through? Light bright, light you're a pansy. You're not really black. You're trying to pass.
Very dismissive. You're using your heightism being dismissive. You're using.
I'm not using anything.
You are dismissive. And
You're using clapism and trying to drive home your point by clapping your hand.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to the next question. I know we're getting to the interest of time. As I said before, please try to let the individual answer the question and vice versa. It's really important to me that both of you guys feel like you're being respected. Mr. Obsidian, he has the right to share his opinion. Miss Rashida, you have your right to share your opinion. So let's just try to be mindful to let the person finish their point and try not to speak over each other. We have one more question, and then in the interest of time, I know you said you have to hop off unless you have a little bit more time, Rashida. It's up to you.
I'm gonna hop off at 2:00.
Okay. Okay. All right. So the next question is: the anti-colorism movement promoting misandry in the Black community?
Promoting what?
Misandry, which is basically hatred.
She doesn't know that word. You got to say misandryism. You got to say misandryism. She recognizes it.
No, I don't.
It's basically hatred. Basically hatred towards men.
I don't have a problem being honest and saying I don't know what something means. That's not an issue for me. So I don't. Can you clarify what the word misandry means, please?
So you're very honest-ism about what it is that you're doing here.
Right. So basically, misandry is hatred towards, kind of like misogyny. Is hatred towards women. Misandry is hatred towards men. So the question is the anti-colorism movement promoting hatred towards men in the Black community?
Well, the dark-skinned activist movement again, I want to make this so clear. If people would really do their research, I have all these videos on YouTube. I have books I've written. I've always stated that the objective of dark-skinned activism is to bring the Black man back to the dark-skinned Black woman in balance. So
Why is she too fat?
On earth, let me finish. How on earth could that be hatred? I'm trying to bring y'all asses back. I like y'all.
Well, what if she's ugly?
Y'all. That's what I like.
What if she's an ugly mug?
Okay, so let her. Okay,
listen, I was married to a super dark-skinned Black man, very
what
handsome,
happened to him?
for 10 years. Well, we divorced, but guess what? I'm gonna marry another Black man because I like y'all.
Is he Darkism too?
Wait, word.
Is he a Darkism?
Okay, so Mr. Mr. Obsidian, what do you think?
Is he black as the Ace of Spades?
Well, my ex-husband he was tar black.
You said you want to marry another black man. Is he black as the Ace of
Spades? And we made
Spades?
a beautiful Black child. I mean, that man looked like Shaka Zulu. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I don't like him
Shaka
now.
Zulu Part 2.
Okay.
You want to get Shaka Zulu too?
Okay.
You better not marry no light-skinned guy. You know what's going to happen.
I might. I do have a.
You're gonna lose your Darkism card.
Boyfriend currently. I do.
You gotta get your Darkism card revoked.
No, no, sir. I created the word darkism. That can never happen. I'm the foundation.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on. We got one more question, then we're gonna have to wrap this up. Mr. Obsidian, what is the best way to end the gender conflicts in the Black community, in your opinion?
By Black women bending over and shutting the trap.
All right. Rashida, what do you have to say on that? What is the best way to end the gender conflicts in the Black community?
Oh, just to love each other, come together, and we have to accept that we have some dysfunctions and work to rid ourselves of the dysfunction. And one of the things we could do, I have a therapist. Black people, for some reason, we have like this stigma against, getting therapy. I think that a lot of Black people are traumatized, including myself. And I think we can improve that with getting therapy, Black men and Black women, in order to build healthier relationships with each other. And just, coming together and talking to each other like we're doing right now. Like this is a start right here. Like I'm not mad with Obsidian. We disagree, but he's a Black man that I love Black.
I love dark-skinned Black women as long as they
Black people. I mean, this is
if
what
they
have to do.
Gorilla, I can't do nothing with them.
But you said, Mr. You said across the board, all shades. You're like, if she's just not attractive, she's not attractive. It don't really matter.
Yeah,
her
skin color is irrelevant. She got to be attractive.
Right. For those of you who are on, please get the likes up, y'all. You guys are on here. Please get the likes up. Tag anybody on this broadcast you think might find it interesting. Well, we're down to our last question. So, okay. I'll direct this to you first, Rashida, since I know you have to hop off soon. Are there any closing remarks that you have, anything that you want to leave with the audience, or just anything you want to clarify before you hop off?
Sure. Y'all can go to my website, darkskinnedactivist.com. Once again, darkskinnedactivist.com. You can get a free ebook download of my book, Darkism, 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated Against. Read that. There's other books you can check out, either my website or Amazon. My books include Token Dark Girl, the It Dark Girl of the Moment, How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet, which is actually the first motivational book for dark-skinned females. My book, A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge. And check those books out, read them, go to the website.
I can believe that one.
Read about me. I mean, the best thing you could do for me is do your research, because I feel like people have stolen and ripped me off, and they're taking credit for work that they just didn't create. Nobody should get credit for work that you didn't. Everybody wants their credit. That's a human, natural thing. And so do your research before you it's not necessarily attack but before you talk to me, research the person that you're dealing with. Is a good thing to do.
Right.
Right. I want to thank you for those super chats. Mahogany Roots and MJ says, I'm subscribed to all of you, but Rashida Strober is the truth that Black people want to hide. We love you, girl, and appreciate the work you do.
Hey, Mahogany, I love you too. See, Mahogany, let me just say this. People come from me because of how I talk. They say, oh, you talk loud, you da 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 da. But Mahogany is like the opposite of me. She's so She's so soft spoken and so sweet, and so are you, Ches. You the same way, y'all. But I love y'all. See, I'm not no hater. It's all kinds of dark skin and women, and I love all of y'all. Even though I talk shit about the ones that done stole from me, I still love you. I love y'all because y'all gonna benefit by default. But I got to be Rashida Strober. I'm not going to change myself to suit folks.
But you should change your name though.
I'm gonna be Rashida Strober.
You can change your name to Rashida Stroberism. The dark-skinned activist.
Without Rashida Strober, the dark-skinned activist, and the way I pop this off being myself, nobody will be talking about dark-skinned and colorism.
That's right.
Fact. I took all the hits for
Factism.
That's a fact.
So,
okay, I'm done. And
thank
I
see Archer. Okay, so thank you for the $4.99 super chat. I want to become the first small. Okay,
this is good. All right, thank you, Obsidian. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the audience. All right.
Thank you, Miss Rashida. And Bobby Wright, also thank you for the $5 super chat. This colorism stuff has turned into depolicing. Light-skinned men should call out tall, dark, and handsome. Well, thank you for all of you guys who have hopped on. And then you, Mr. Obsidian, do you have any other topics or anything you would like to add to this discussion?
Yes, we're going to be. I think that if you're a hot chick, you're a hot chick. That's bottom line. And that's the whole point of mentioning Miss April Mason. Miss April Mason has proven that you can be an older woman and still get it, that you can have short hair and still get it, and you can be dark skinned and still get it. Why? Because she's hot, the end. So all these ladies that are hollering and screaming about colorism, lookism, uglyism, darkism, and all the rest of it, look, if you are hot, you ain't got to worry about it.
So at the end of the day, your point is basically women who complain about darkism are just not attractive. Is that what you mean?
Usually, more often than not, those women, there's a reason why they're complaining about darkism, and here's one of them. There you go.
Yeah. For those
if you're eating like Miss Pac-Man, then you're going to have a reason to be upset.
I'll say this. I'm rather new. I'm rather new to the darkism colorism conversation, which is why I wanted to talk to her, because I'm like, as somebody who really did start within the digital marketing space, who kind of started this conversation and this whole movement, I thought it was good to just get her perspective on it. So I am new. I'm new, and I'm still learning about what it really is. With that said, I personally know very, very dark-skinned women who are incredibly beautiful, and I've never once heard them complain about this. I do know, light-skinned women who are single and as struggling as can be. And so, this always brings it to the conversation. Okay, obviously racism does exist, and obviously the people to a certain extent can be oppressed, they can be overlooked, yada yada yada. To what extent, to what extent is darkism or colorism a thing? And I know that's where it can always be in debate. I will be interested to look up her what'd you say, thesis that she created? I'll have to look into that, because I was not aware, just to see her kind of break down, okay, how does this really break out into a systematic thing?
But how can she break it down? And she didn't even conduct any census. She didn't conduct any surveys. So I don't know how you do it. I don't know. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. But yeah, no, I hear where you're coming from. I also hear where she's coming from. I'll just have to read into a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I've always said this. I personally believe that men should be able to have a preference. Men have a preference.
Men do have a preference.
For some reason, I feel as if we live in a time where men can't openly express their preferences. I was talking.
Yeah, you better not say that you want a woman that's shapely and good looking and all that. The usual suspects will come after you and accuse you of darkism, looksism, body positivityism, and Pac-Manism. Yeah.
Right. So. And I personally feel like that should change. Maybe it should be, we can create a male preferenceism. I don't know. Maybe that can be a thing, because I do believe men should be able to have preferences, and that doesn't necessarily need to be looked down upon. Now, I do understand if something is due to self-hating, it's due to an oppressive system. What is it? is it Japomania? You know, that one thing where you start to fall in love with your person. Like, so I do understand. It's like, yeah, if your attraction is based upon something unhealthy, that's a different conversation. But on a base level, if the man wants somebody who's really tall, somebody who's short, somebody who's shapely, he wants the BBW, dark skin, light skin. I'm like, I personally see no problem with that, because if you are a beautiful woman, if you have a good confidence about you, there are so many single men out here today who are struggling to find a woman to get along with.
Oh yeah, the thirst is real.
Yeah, so I'm like, if by nature, if you just have good character, or if you have you show that you can get along with a man, and like if you're I think in that, you're dark, you're light, you're in between, you'll probably be able to find somebody. That's not to say there's not different issues. Like,
well, I know all about that brown bag life. I know all about the brown bag life.
Right, because you're brown, yeah. And
I'm one half of the Little Fella Foundation that we formed with Edward Anderson. Now he's the little buttermilk Negro, and I'm the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Negro. Together we formed the Little Fella Foundation.
Okay. Well, I will say, and you make reference to this in your book, where you kind of talk about the different things, shorter men may experience. And like I said, that was the first time I really heard somebody break it down in that way.
Oh, you're going to love the book I'm about to write now. I got a book on the way that I'm going to be focusing on heightism and dating. And one of the chapters is going to be talking about how there are a lot of women that are in the closet. They're closeted little fella lovers.
So are you going to become the first brown bag heightist activist?
Absolutely not.
You don't want to become a height activist? I think I would support it. I wish the body positive movement, I wish it included shorter men. I wish it included, larger men. I wish it was more inclusive, because I think body positive is only focused on women.
Only reason why I bring up heightism along is just to make fun of the women that want to dog everybody else out because they don't dig them. But at the same time, I want me to talk. I was watching a tape the other day. A sister was on Kendra G's channel on Instagram. Now she's a big girl, but she don't want no big guy because friction.
Oh God,
this is what I'm talking about. That's the only reason why I bring it up, just to highlight the hypocrisy of these ladies. But there's a lot of women that are closeted little fella lovers.
Some of my closest friends, one of them in particular, she has 4 kids. No, both of them, like my best friends, 4 kids, husbands that are shorter than them. And I mean, they have great marriages. And I remember you made reference to that.
The reason why?
Huh?
You can imagine the reason why.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because these guys are closer to the ground. I mean, they might even be easier to yeah.
One can only speculate, but like I said, you do make reference to it in your book, and I'll be interested to see how you break this out a little bit more in your newer book. So
yeah, it's in the pipeline now. So yeah, yeah, but it'll be a while before it comes out. But yeah, it's in the pipeline now.
Yeah. So well, in the meantime, if should you decide to start a heightism activism page or movement, I will be all for it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the little cinnamon toast crunch guy.
That's hilarious.
Well, my skin does remind you of cinnamon toast crunch, don't it?
I'm sorry?
My skin does remind you of cinnamon toast crunch, doesn't it?
I guess I haven't really studied it that deeply. I'd have to go back and really, really do a deep dive, but I'm going to take your word for it.
I mean, anything that reminds the ladies of eating, because it's 2 things that's definitely true about the lovely ladies. Black women love to eat and they love to drink.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. I actually did a review last night of this video. I think it was Jordan Peterson who came onto the roommates, and I saw that. You saw that, where he basically said men are the problem, and I said this is a guy who actually hasn't been in the dating market for the last 20-30 years. Because
20, 30, try the better part of 30 plus.
30 plus. Okay, I'm not sure his age, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm listening to him and I'm like, while some of the things that he's saying, I think are true and good on a basic level, you're not actually out here in these fields doing the research. I talk to women on a day-to-day basis. I am a woman. I
But
know what these women
Dr.
are thinking.
Peterson is scared to death of women. He won't say the things that he said in that roommate's podcast, he will never say to women.
Huh.
If all the men, if you're
Okay.
having problems with all the men or all the men are dogs, no, the problem ain't them, the problem is you. They're right to avoid you. He
Right.
will never say that to women because he's scared to death of them counseling him.
See, and that's the thing, because when I listened to that and I was like, I agree that there's things that he's saying that are true about a person, first being responsible, looking individually and making sure they're as on point. But I would be, as a woman who knows women, who was grown up a woman and who talks to them on a day-to-day basis, and who has literally looked at femininity coaches, April Mason, Rebecca Lynn Pope, Ayanna Vincent, what people who are their primary client is women, and these women are saying the exact same thing that men are saying, red pill men who are complaining and saying this is the issue. It's like, I would be lying if I was to say that women also aren't culpable in what's going on today.
Now, see, two out of the three that you mentioned there are part of the Darkism Federation, and the other one is part of the Chai Club.
The Chai Club.
Yeah, Rebecca Lynn Pope is she's of the Chai Club because she reminds you of a cup of chai.
Oh,
whereas Yana Van Zant
okay.
and April Mason, they remind you of some sensually chocolate donuts.
You also make reference to her. I think you also make reference to her in the book, and you have some strong.
You talking about that?
No. Do you April Mason? Did I make? I think you.
Oh, April. Yeah. That was based on events I think of last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I may have to talk about what's going on presently. I may have to talk. By the way, and I'm working on a book for the ladies right now as we speak. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be literally a sister volume to the Book of Obsidian. As a matter of fact, the working title, I don't want to reveal the actual title, I already have it. But the working title for the general public right now is the Book of Obsidian for the ladies. But yeah, it's going to literally be a sister companion to the Book of Obsidian. And the reason why is because a number of women have been asking me, well, you going to write a book for us?
Really?
Like, yeah.
So you're saying this is women who read your book, were able to take in the constructive criticism, the feedback, all that, for better or for worse. They were able to take it in and then say, now we want to hear you give a book directed towards us.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming in that book you're now also going to take a critical eye and look at men and say, hey, here's where you can.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We're gonna go in on the select F boys. We going in.
That'll be an interesting one for sure. I will be on the lookout for that.
Well, you're part of my little focus group when it's done. You'll get a gratis copy.
Awesome.
I need some ladies to give me their advanced opinions before it hits the stores on Valentine's Day weekend 2022.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to that email.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to hop on and share your perspective on just the different things happening in Black America, Black women in particular, especially dark-skinned Black women. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So I appreciate you hopping on. And I definitely look forward to chatting more. I know we've had a discussion about doing a similar format with Omawali Africa, who's starting to become quite a critic of the manosphere, the Black manosphere in particular, especially against Mr. Kevin Samuel. So I am excited.
I would like to hear what his specific critique is of Mr. Samuel. Maybe we could do a debate about that.
Yes, because he's gone into that quite deeply, especially the last few videos. He's kind of called out some things. Like I know the video that Kevin Samuels did, I think earlier this week, where he had men calling. He was basically talking about why Black men should expand their options, right? So he had something to say about that. And he's had quite a bit to say about, like I said, Kevin Samuels and the Black manosphere in general. So obviously, you being one of the founding fathers, I thought, hey, what a good way to really hash this out and get to the bottom of what's going to be the best way for Black men moving forward. So
looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we'll be in contact. Thank you again. Okay. And then for those of you guys, I'm sure many of you know he has his book. I'll put the information down for you to follow them, check them out, send support, and yeah, we'll do that. And we are signing off.